Welcome to the Kinetic Belief podcast. I'm so excited to champion and encourage you every week, right here.
Pushing the boundaries of expectations and rewriting the rules of adventure are the reasons we get up in the morning. This is a way of life, a huge and growing community of explorers and adventurers, leading the way, blazing new trails, and raising the bar. We share your hunger for a life without limits, and we know you'll stop at nothing to get there.
Hi, Megan. Welcome to the wild places of today and to the gorge of the Rio Grande in northern New Mexico.
Hi, Stephen. I am beyond excited to be here.
Oh, my goodness.
It is so stunning. I'm speechless, which is not a good tribute to have on a podcast.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think probably anybody's watching can understand the speechlessness of the moment. This is gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. And I have to say the desert of New Mexico has a really special feeling to it. Don't you agree?
Did you notice on the way in, we had to Jeep our way in here and then do some hiking up some trails, and we passed the Bighorn Sheep and all this cool stuff. Did you notice on the way in the statues of aliens?
Yes.
People are into aliens in this area, aren't they?
It's cool. I love it.
It was
you know,
really cool.
The weirder the better.
Well, you know, I think that the galaxy, the spaceport, has built just in southern New Mexico,
Really?
Where Virgin is getting ready to start the flights into space. I think they're saying 2020.
Wow.
But that's not far from
That seems
here.
really soon.
Area 51's not far from here. You got Martians and alien statues everywhere. Something's going on in New Mexico.
If you're looking to leave the planet, it sounds like this is the place to be.
Yeah, but you know, seriously, we came hiking in here. We've been here for a couple of days now in the
Yes.
canyon. And what happened yesterday?
Oh, so okay, we're all set up, production team, we're all ready to go, and it's so quiet out here. It's almost too quiet, and we hear a rustling behind us, and a herd of bighorn sheep are literally 4 or 5 feet from us, which is phenomenal. They have an amazing sense of smell. We were completely downwind from them, so I think they just didn't even know we were here.
Well, you know what's so cool though is we had hiked in and we were sitting down. We had found a place down inside kind of the boulders, sort of out of the wind, and on the side of the cliff, and they literally came right up the side from right down in here and out of the basin. The Rio Grande itself you can't see it from where we're sitting, but it's just down the cliff here, and they came up the side and I'll never forget the look on your face. I thought it was a snake or something behind us, and your eyes are this big, like saucers, and I'm like, what is it? I turned around, and they were literally 4 or 5 feet away. They were
close.
as startled as we were.
They were, and then they just took off running. They went down into the canyon here, and then they ended up in this really beautiful valley that we could see, and just stayed there for the rest of the production day.
Wild places. Isn't nothing like it, is it?
Those are the moments to live for. Absolutely, they were, and I have to say they were just stunning. Seeing an animal like that close in its natural habitat is a gift and something I'll never forget.
We come out here so that we can unplug from the noise of the world, so that we can meditate and turn all of our attention inward to the Creator within us.
Yes.
And that's why and if you listen to these podcasts, you know where we're going, where we always are. We're in remote places. And here in the coming weeks, in fact, we're heading up toward Telluride. We're going to be doing some 4-wheel driving up above Telluride. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to Monument Park in Colorado. Yeah. And then we're headed to the Grand Canyon, and then Yosemite. And Sequoia,
and then Redwood Forest,
and up on the Pacific Northwest, and then we'll be heading back into the interior. Just the most wild places we can find.
And I gotta say, for me personally, living this way is a huge gift, and it is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I think what you're supposed to be doing, and that's how I wish everyone could live that way. I wish everyone could find that niche in life where they sense that they have such a strong purpose, but then they're also being spiritually fed, and you just know beyond any doubt that you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
Well, and you know something, you just hit on it, everybody can. You don't have to you don't have to physically go to a place like this. You can listen to a podcast and be transported spiritually and mentally right into the place where we are. And by sharing it, you can vicariously experience what we're experiencing. Or you can go into the woods behind your house. You can go into a hookah room inside of your condo and just set aside one little room, a space, and make it comfortable. Get your blanket, your lap quilt, light a candle, put on some music that you like to listen to, close the door, dim the lights, and unplug. And you're in that quiet place. And it can become a wild place.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think when you're achieving what everyone is trying to achieve through that is just the ability to be introspective. I find it very difficult to get to know more of myself, to deeply understand my heart's desires, where I want to go next, when there's so much noise around. And I think those quiet places, nature, it's just the perfect setting to restructure your life, and to also figure out what sort of positive disruption your life needs next for the next chapter.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's what it is. It's a positive disruption, and that's what we're doing here today. What is a positive disruption? That is when there are only two forces of energy in the universe, and one is born of positivity, and the other one is negative. The universe has negative energy in it. Positive energy is always expanding, and you've heard scientifically how since the Big Bang the universe is expanding. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that there is also a contraction that is occurring at the same time there's an expansion. Expansion is positive. Expansion is growth. Expansion is blessing, more, increase, heart's desire. Contraction or negative energy is loss, it's lack, it's based in fear, and it's under the law of decay. So what we do in the practice of kinetic belief is we focus on positive interruptions. We are all inundated with an opportunity to make a choice every day of our lives, throughout the day. It could be in traffic. It might be to turn on the news and get caught up in the drama of politics or what's happening on the streets of some major city. If it's a negative report, you need to come up with some type of a contradiction or counteract that with a positive interruption. The reason we do this is because we are, as creators, always creating based on what we are communing with. So if you're communing with negative energy, even if you don't realize it, you're creating something from that negative place. Recognizing the posture that you're in, recognizing the sphere of influence and the color that has been produced from the energy that you're in is absolutely vital to attracting the perfect life. Because all of a sudden, if you're not doing this, you are, and people see it all the time, everything around you seems like it's going wrong. Everything is spinning out of control. You have friends that are negative. The phone call comes. As soon as you feel good about something, here comes another negative phone call. Somebody's wanting to judge someone, stab them in the back, tell you what's wrong with you. That's the universe that we're in. So when we practice the law of kinetic belief, kinetic simply means putting motion to the thing that you're adhering to and relying on. Motion is the creative drawing of the substance of the thing that we're hoping for. Kinetic is the continuing in that motion. So as soon as you harbor positive energy and recognize that you absolutely believe that you are healthy. You have no question at all that you are a millionaire. And it has nothing to do with what you see and everything to do with what you believe and what you're holding on to. When you get into that frame of thought and you do it from a heart of gratitude, you're holding on to the kinetic belief that it has come to pass, then you are attracting the very thing that you're hoping for. Now the challenge is going to be something's going to try to show up and negatively interrupt that positive interaction that you're having with creativity. Yeah. So that is always the challenge.
And I've heard you speak also about positive disruptions being used to break out of monotony, routine. I think that is a huge killer of ambition and just people achieve, just basic achievement, because it's so easy to get into this loop, this just this sort of route. I read an article one time that said that I think people have like 25 places that they go.
Yeah, that's right.
when they live
correct.
in an area, you have about 25 places, and you just sort of repeat those every
Mm-hmm.
single day, every week. And I think I've heard you talk about a positive disruption being used to break out of that loop so that you can live a better life, achieve more, to discover more about yourself.
A life that's looping is one that's contracting. You may think that you're into a habitual pattern of life. There's no such thing as stagnation. It does not exist except in the mind and the attitude. Remember, everything is either growing, being promoted, or it's contracting. It's under the influence of decay. One or the other. So it can appear like your life is on replay and you're going round and round and round, but you are actually in that circular way of life. You're actually in contraction. You're actually decaying, because life is growth. Life is promotion. Living is the soul experiencing new ideas, new thoughts, new wild places, be it in the mind or be it in reality. And a lot of people think that they can escape the circular life that they're in just by, say, reading a novel or reading a book. That's a half-truth. Books will not change you. Books will not transport you to another place just by the mere labor of reading the book. It's not reading the book, but it's what you think about what you read that will transport you.
Wow.
So anybody that is using a book as entertainment as a distraction for thought, I would say to them, stop doing that immediately. Don't stop reading, but stop using it as a distraction toward your growth. If you like to read, I encourage it, but then if you do read, think about what you read. Meditate on it. How does that change you? How does it grow you? What does it now mean to you? How often have you been reading and you can't even, if you stop reading, or you don't even know what you read for the last 2 or 3 pages? And that comes from not thinking about the very thing that you're reading.
Wow, I love that. So let's say that someone's listening and they've recognized that they're either in a negative space or even on the loop that you're talking about. How do you decide what is a positive disruption? How do you decide what's for you? I would guess that going to the same vacation spot you've been going to for the last 30 years is not necessarily new. So, vacations don't always work as positive disruptions, but goodness, how do you even decide what to do?
The quickest check, it's almost like taking your pulse. How do you feel about something? How do you feel at any given moment about what you have to do this afternoon, what you did yesterday, what your friends are doing? How does it make you feel? And I don't usually like to encourage people to use their feelings as a navigational tool, but if you do a gut check or a soul check, if something agrees with your happiness, then continue in that. If something produces anxiety or fear, the first thing you do is you check your unconditional love walk, because there is no fear in unconditional love. Something is broken. Something is causing you distress. So you need a positive disruption for that thing, for that thought. You need to check your thoughts. Sometimes we'll have that internal dialogue, and I know that there are people that will drive going down to the meeting, and in a 20-minute commute, they're having a conversation. Well, I'm going to say this, and they're going to say that, and I say this, and you're having an argument, and by the time you get there, you stirred yourself up, and you go in, and nobody was angry. Nobody was looking for a fight.
There's no one to fight with.
But that's what I mean by positive disruption.
Yeah.
Don't carry the negative energy of anything.
Or anyone.
Anyone. Don't allow the negative energy in the universe to take up harbor within you, so that you can be promoting growth and attracting the perfect life in every direction.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
With positive disruption, it is an incredibly powerful tool. I think it's a little underrated sometimes, because it really gives you this ability like nothing else can to redirect. You're on this path and you're going, and there's nothing telling you that you're going to change paths. And a positive disruption just allows you to turn in any direction at any moment. And what I love about that is that it's very hopeful. It's full of hope. It says that at any day, any time, any moment, any age, any time in your life, you can choose to redirect.
Well, redirection is going to be vital to everyone's success. And I met a lovely woman the other day, and she had just gone through a divorce. And Megan, she was under such condemnation, self-inflicted condemnation as well. She believed the lies. She believed the attacks. The husband had an affair and was heaping all of this negative energy and producing negative emotions within her. And the first thing, and I didn't know any of this until she told me she was going through something, and I knew immediately to tell her that you're not a victim.
Wow.
If you want to change and positively disrupt whatever you're in life, recognize first of all that you are special, that you are beautiful, you are created magnificently as a creator in the image of a creator. There is nothing wrong with you regardless of what anybody says. There's nothing broken about you, no matter what anyone says. So get rid of the attitude and the thought. Don't dwell on negative words and attacks and condemnation and judgments that people have been trying to heap on you and tell you that you're responsible for this. They're judging you. And the whole reason, that the purpose behind all of that is you have someone else that is broken, that's believed condemnation about themselves. And so in a self-righteousness, they're building themselves up by tearing someone else down. Divorce is one of the worst places that this occurs in so many people's lives. And so I would just tell you, regardless of whatever it is that you may be going through today, make sure that you positively disrupt that negative energy. Allow nothing negative to ever come into your life. Don't harbor it. Don't think about it. Don't believe it. You're beautifully fashioned exactly the way you're supposed to be, with a dynamic, glorious purpose to perform while you are here in the physical, in the land of the living. So get down to the business of creating, being positive, and give absolutely no harbor to any negative energy, no negative emotions at all. Look in the mirror and say, I am dynamically beautiful, and I am a creator, and I am exactly the way that I'm supposed to be.
Wow, that's beautiful. So a positive disruption can also be some really great affirmations as well.
That's part of it. You have to have the positive affirmations, and do it every day. Do it in the morning, do it at night before you rest.
I know something that really helps me is you post affirmations on social media all the time. So, sometimes it's hard to think of something positive to say about yourself when you're in a real dark place or a funk. So, hey, hit up your Instagram and make it easy on yourself.
Or go to StephenCanyon.com and you'll find positive affirmations right there about your health or about finances, relationships, whatever it is, and just say them out loud.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a plan. Well, this has been amazing.
Isn't it beautiful?
So thankful, so grateful, full of gratitude for this time together in this spot. I guess
I'm thankful for you, Megan.
Oh, you as well. Thanks for
so
all
much
the wisdom
fun.
and insight, and I can't wait to do it again next week.
See you next week, okay? All right. Bye.